Hello matey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be taking a look at the top 3 best and worst performing Coventry City players this season in all competitions. If you go on to enjoy this video, a like would be appreciated. You'll be shocked to see one player in there in both categories where you're like, how the hell have they ended up there? I thought they've had a very good season and I personally wouldn't have put them in either. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the picks. Now of course we're using FOTMOB, which is my #1 platform to go to find out football stats and football performances from footballers. So if you're a football fashionista like myself and enjoy all the intricate stats that football shows to the fans, go and check them out. I'm not sponsored by them, I just love them so much. Now looking at the third best player for Coventry on FOTMOB with a rating of 7.56 is Matty Grimes in the midfield. I'm so thankful that he's finally bursted into that top 5. I did a video earlier this season where I talked about the top 5 rated Coventry players so far this season, and Matt Grimes wasn't even in there. So see him in third spot just shows how much of an important player he is to us. I mean, looking at his match ratings for every single game this season, it's just a sea of green. It's absolutely phenomenal what he's doing in that midfield for Coventry. If we get an injury to him, we are desperately in trouble and we need reinforcements in the January transfer window. But as you can see here, there's only 3 games where he's got an orange rating, which is a 6.9 or less on FOTMOB. I mean, in the games that he did get those oranges, you're looking at the 6.7 where they did win 1-0 to Luton, and that was in the Carabao Cup, and he only played 28 minutes. And then you had that 5-3 victory against Derby County where he got a 6.8. He played the full game. Of course, his rating is going to get dropped down because he's classified as a defender slash midfielder, so he'll get penalised for the defensive mistakes. Then that 2-2 draw where Coventry should have won that game against Oxford United, averaging a 6.9. He is the guy who makes the team tick over, and he is the orchestrator of the football team. These are the stats of why I want to show you why he's so important to this Coventry City side. I mean, the eye test only tells you so much, and stats like this: pass accuracy 88.4% so far, cross accuracy 36.7%. He averages 60 successful passes per 90 in the games. Defending wise, he wins 54.9% of his duels in that midfield battle. And then the one that I love so much is the recoveries. He averages 5.31 recoveries during a 90-minute game, which you see that all the time where he'll just get the ball, he'll recover it, and then we'll be on the counter attack. He's so calm, he's so collected in that midfield. He definitely deserves that third spot. The player who has the third lowest rated for Coventry City this season on FOTMOB is Mason Clark. He's played 12 matches, he started 11, he scored 3 goals, 1 assist. His rating is a 7.15. You got a sea of green, you got a sea of orange. His lowest rated game so far this season was that 3-1 victory against Watford where he got a 5.9 rating, which is very harsh in my opinion. No player on the Coventry side was actually good, but I don't think he was the worst. He scored that crucial goal obviously against Stoke City in the most recent match to win us the game. He got a yellow card in that game, which does bump him down on FOTMOB according to their stats. Scoring that 1 goal against Wrexham where we did take the 1-0 lead, so that was an important goal at the time. And he picked up a man of the match performance against Derby County in that 5-3 victory where he scored that 1 goal. So every single time he's scoring a goal is actually making a huge impact in the game. Like mentioning before, when we beat Stoke City 1-0, he scored the goal for us to win the game. Wrexham, we went 1-0 up because of his goal. Then finally the Derby County game where we were 3-2 down against them and he scored the goal to make it 3-3. Every single time he's on the pitch and he gets a goal, it's an important goal. It's not like the 7-1 against QPR where everyone's just stat padding at that point. He scores the goals at vital times that actually impact the team's success. So him being the third lowest rated player on the Coventry City season so far is a little bit baffling to me, but I can understand it. The second worst player according to FOTMOB for Coventry City is Ellis Sims with a rating of 6.73. He's played 12 matches so far in the Championship. He's got 1 start, he's got 2 goals, 2 assists. Again, it's very harsh from my opinion. Every single time I see him come onto the pitch, he makes an impact in a positive way. He didn't get the assist for the Mason Clark goal, which I don't know how he's not assisted with that when he got the flick on for the goal, unless I've totally misseen the whole situation leading up to the goal where it was an actual defender who flicked it on to Mason Clark. He should have been credited for that, so he should actually be sitting on 3 assists. And I think his match ratings are sort of similar to Mason Clark, not in the same way of the goals that he scores impacts the team in a positive manner. I mean in the sense of he only gets in the green ratings whenever he scores a goal or gets an assist. He got 2 assists against Portsmouth, he gets an 8.9 rating. Of course, he was phenomenal in that game. Sheffield Wednesday, when he scored that 1 goal, a 7.2 rating. Millwall, when he came on for an 18-minute cameo, he scored 1 goal, he got a 7.3 rating. Luton, when he scored against them in the Carabao Cup, he got a 7.9 rating. He only gets a high rating on FOTMOB according to what he does in the game. So yeah, he gets high ratings when he gets goals and assists. We already know that. Is that harsh by FOTMOB? I think it absolutely is. Is that because Haji Wright has been so poor recently that we just look to Ellis Sims and he does the basic stuff that he gets credited way higher than he should be? Possibly. It's very hard to take our Coventry City hat off and just dissect the game sometimes from a neutral perspective, but FOTMOB has him down as the second worst player so far for Coventry this season. I think towards the start of the season, you could definitely say that he was in the low fives or mid five ratings, but ever since that international break and just the last 5, 6, 7 games, he's picked it up so much where people are actually saying he should start ahead of Haji Wright, which I personally agree with. The second best rated player for Coventry City is Bobby Thomas with a match rating of 7.56. He's played 14 matches in the championship, started all 14, got 2 goals, 2 assists, 3 yellow cards. He is phenomenal in that defense. He is absolutely killing it at the moment. Of course, as you can see from his match ratings, he's got a 7, 8.6, 6.7, and then it's just a sea of green, baby, in the championship. And of course, those goals and those assists bump him up so high, especially when you're a defender, because you're not expected to contribute to the team in that sort of way. And the things that helped him out a lot were those clean sheets during that run that we had. Leicester 0-0 draw, Birmingham 3-0 win, Millwall 4-0 win, Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 win, Blackburn Rovers 2-0 win, and then we beat Portsmouth. He still gets a 7.9 rating even though we conceded that goal. The only game that he's got poorly in the last 2 months is that Watford game. As I mentioned, every single Cov player got a terrible rating for that game, and it wasn't just my eyes who saw that, even they agreed with me. He's just a colossal in defense, as you can see from his defending stats here. If we're talking about per 90, again, as we're doing for all these stats, recoveries, he averages 4.2 recoveries per 90. Aerial duels run 4.4. Jules won 6.4. He barely puts a foot wrong in defense, and the only thing you could ever have a go at him for is those yellow cards that he's picked up so far this season, which he averages at 0.22 yellow cards per game. And I think with this rating, what helps him out so much is just having that balance in defense with the right back, with the left centre back. That partnership of Kitchen and Thomas so far this season has helped him out tremendously in that match rating that he's got so far. It's all about consistency in defense, and that run that we had definitely showed that we have consistency. Even though we're conceding goals in our most recent matches, besides the Stoke one, it shows that we still have a strong defense, a strong core unit alongside a good goalkeeper behind him, and it just breeds confidence and just elevates him to another level where he can show all of his capabilities in that defensive role. And then the worst player, according to FOTMOB, for Coventry City so far this season is Jamie Allen. His average rating on FOTMOB is a 6.72, but it's a little bit skewed because he's actually only started 3 games for Coventry so far this season, making 13 appearances in all competitions. There's only been 2 games this season where he's averaged an 8 or above. Of course, he averaged an 8-0 win in that Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 victory, and then that 3-1 victory against Watford where he did score that goal inside of the box. Poacher mentality right there, was a fantastically well taken goal. But does he deserve to be the worst player this season? I mean, we've had so many standouts so far that it's so hard to put anybody at the bottom. And with a rating of 6.72, I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. And of course, there's players who have made appearances for this season, but they haven't actually been noted on FOTMOB. So I'm going off these stats. So there's no Jake Bidwell, there's no Kai Andrews, there's only players who have made so many appearances for us so far this season, because the sample size for those players who've only played 2, 3, 4 times isn't fair on this comparison. In 13 matches, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist, and personally, I think he's one of the best impact players that we have coming off the bench. As I've mentioned 100 times, he's not a player who's going to give you 8, 9 out of 10 every single week. He's your player you bring off the bench, he just shores up the whole entire game. He won't get the kudos, he won't get the 7.5s, he'll get a 6.5, steady Eddie, he'll steady the ship, and you'll finish the game with a victory. And of course, the highest rated player on FOTMOB is got to be Brandon Asante with a 7.6, 10 goals so far this season in 14 starts, 15 matches, 3 assists. He's played 1,209 minutes, picking up 0 yellow cards, 0 red cards. His discipline is second to none. It was absolutely phenomenal so far. He's picked up 2 Man of the Match awards so far this season. Of course, in that Sheffield Wednesday game where he scored 2 goals, got a 9.3 rating, and then Portsmouth where we won 2-1. He scored 2 goals again. He is crucial to this team at the moment, and nobody saw this coming before the season started. If you put a bet on him to be the top goal scorer at this stage in the season, it was probably paying 100 to 1. He was nowhere near it. He's in the top 90% per 90 out of the whole league so far for goals, expected goals, XG on target, non-penalty XG, shots on target. And what's most impressive about him is if you look at every single stat on FOTMOB as I'm showing you right now, he is in the top 3 of all of them. And what's most impressive alongside that is he scored 0 penalty goals. They're all made from chances or his own doing. It's absolutely crazy what Brandon Thomas Asante is doing so far this season. 8 out of the 10 goals have come inside of the box and 2 of them outside of the box. Of course, that phenomenal goal he scored in that game where Victor Torp scored his volley and then Brandon Thomas Asante with the goal of the season. That goal against Blackburn Rovers just shows that he's a guy that needs confidence, and when you give him confidence and he gets on a run of scoring goals, performing well, it just breathes inside of him. And Lampard said this before the season started. Thomas Asante was the most hard-working player that he saw at the club, and it showed. Last season, he was out of favour with Lampard. This season, he is undroppable, and it creates a good headache for Lampard going into the next 7, 8, 9 games, where it's who do I drop out of that front 4 when Rodoni comes back into the lineup? Do I drop Mason Clark on the left hand side and put Thomas Asante there? Do I play Thomas Asante as a 10 and just not put Jack Rodoni in at all? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Thomas Asante this season. And one final thing on Thomas Asante that nobody takes notice of is his defending stats. As a striker, he's won 58 duels so far this season, 12 interceptions, 3 shots blocked, recoveries. He's got 61 in the league as a striker. It shows how hard he's working back for that team, and it just shows that you defend from the front as a football team. You don't just defend with your defenders or your defensive midfielders or your holding midfielders. You defend from the front, and that's what Lampard has wanted his team to do from day one since he came into the side, is defend from the front. You put in the work rate, and the chances will come to you. You work for the defense will create chances for you. It's a team, it's teamwork, it's duos, it's trios, and it just shows defensiveness so far this season when recovering the ball. Possession in the final third, 10 so far this season. It just shows that he's putting in the effort, and that's all you want from a footballer as a football fan. You want your players to put in the effort. Where we've seen so far, I'm not going to name players, but they haven't put in the effort when they came off the bench or when they started games. Thomas Asante cannot be faulted for that. Even if he's only scored 5 goals this season, his work rate is immense. So that's the top 3 best and the top 3 worst players according to FOTMOB this season for Coventry City. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.